The NFL controversy continues, the NBA weighs in, and of course the big news in this news cycle is this horrific mass killing, mass murder in Las Vegas. I'm Randall Terry, this is Voice of Resistance. Let us all continue to pray for the families of the murder victims from Stephen Paddock, the 64-year-old satanically inspired man who, from a 32nd floor of a hotel, shot down into a crowd at a concert, murdering over 50 people. This program, as you know, is for political commentary. We cover the news and then we talk about it as best we can from a Judeo-Christian perspective. And a horrific crime like this cannot go uncovered. But also, I just don't want to use this platform, this time, to talk about politics, the politics of this. The spiritual reality is that the devil is a murderer. He was a murderer from the beginning. That's what Jesus said. Our Lord Jesus said that. And this man was inspired by Satan. We know that. Because when the Pharisees were trying to kill Jesus, he said, "Why do you seek to kill me? Because you're doing the will of your Father." He was a murderer from the beginning. He comes to steal, to kill, and destroy, Jesus said in another place. So, I just feel sick for the families. They don't even have the ability to see justice for this man because he killed himself. So now, all of these families, literally thousands of people, when you see the ripple going out, immediate family, extended family, friends, co-workers, church members, thousands of people will have to deal with grief and heartache that will never go away. It will never go away. It becomes the new normal. People having to go to therapy, people praying, crying out to God because of their hatred of this individual, praying for God's grace to cope with it, praying for forgiveness. You're going to have people down the road praying for God to help them to forgive that man and to not live with bitter hatred toward him. It was satanic. That's all you can say. Absolutely satanic. And again, our hearts go out to all of these families, and may God have mercy on the souls of all of those people who were dispatched, were murdered, who were sent out of this life prematurely. God have mercy on us. And I will say one other thing. This was not the will of God. All right? It was not the will of God. Jesus taught us to pray, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." God has a will. He has a will in heaven. No one's being killed in heaven. All right? So God allows things to happen because man has been given free will. But this was not God's will. This was a horrific, demonic crime. I've got to take a break. God have mercy on those poor families and on those poor victims. I'll be right back.
Today, many so-called Christian intellectuals believe that the God of evolution used billions of years of death and destruction to evolve the bodies of the first human beings. Then, they simply declare the theory of evolution as fact to justify their unproven scientific fallacies. By the grace of God, more and more Catholics are rejecting this modern-day mythology in favor of the traditional doctrine of creation, as recorded by the Bible and believed and taught by all the fathers and doctors of the church. To find out how sound theology and natural science confirm the sacred history of Genesis, visit the Colby Center for the Study of Creation, and be sure to check out our bookstore, which has titles like "I Have Spoken to You from Heaven," a Catholic defense of creation in 6 days, and a Catholic assessment of evolutionary theory. That's the Colby Center for the Study of Creation.
The NFL continues down its path of self-destruction. The NBA players were told, don't even think about it. National Basketball Association, the National Basketball League, the NBA has made it very clear to their players, you're not doing that. My family was watching NASCAR the other day. My boys were like, let's watch a race. And when they sang the Star Spangled Banner, they opened the whole event in prayer. A very long prayer, not a scripted prayer. And there was not a soul kneeling during the national anthem. They were all standing. And I said to my boys, I said, if somebody in a NASCAR race dared to kneel, they would get pummeled. There are people in the pit, there are people in the stands that would jump them and just pummel them. Because it's a very different crowd. Now, I'll also say this. I think that there might be fans in football, if they could get their hands on some of these guys, would pummel them. I'm not saying that they should. I just looking at the cultural difference between NASCAR, which last figures I read is the most lucrative sport in America. It's not the NFL. It's not baseball. The most lucrative sport in America right now is NASCAR, at least is my last reading. So anyway, the NFL continues to self-destruct. Some teams locking arms, some teams kneeling, some teams just going with the program as they're supposed to go. But as I watch this, and I see the contempt of some players, and maybe you saw the image of the players standing with their fists raised, this is an act of defiance. This harkens back to the 1960s in some people's minds. Black Power, Black Panthers, some people would talk about. And that adds a racial element to it that did not have to be present when the president made his first remarks. But stepping aside from that, from the men standing there with their fists raised up, it shows a lack of, I'm going to come to the flag, I'm going to come to the anthem in a minute, but it shows a lack of respect for the fan, for the people who pay the bills, and it shows a level of, I'm a spoiled brat and I don't care. It's like a rich kid. We've seen movies where you've got a rich kid or a rich 20-something-year-old who treats everyone around him with contempt just because he's rich. He abuses them verbally. He's rude to them. He doesn't apologize. He's just a jerk, and it's directly related to his money. That's what I feel like I'm watching with these players. If you want to make a statement, if you think that there is injustice in America, I know that there's injustice in America. I know there is. I've spent my life protesting against child killing, okay? So I know that there's injustice in America. I've gone to jail. I've been in county jails, state prisons, a federal prison. So I know that there's injustice. I know what it means to protest. I know what it means to face difficulty. That's not what these guys are doing. These guys are using a platform where they are making, some of them, multiple millions of dollars. And they're showing utter contempt for the end user. Take what they're doing and put it in any other business, because the NFL is a business. In addition to being sports, it is professional sports. They're paid for what they do. So it's a business. And the end user is the person who's buying that ticket or watching the TV show so that the NFL and the networks can split revenue, advertising revenue. When you show that kind of contempt for the end user, take the NFL out of it and put it in a car. Can you imagine if Ford or GM produced a car and inside on the dash, every time you fired it up at the beginning of your ride, it said something to you offensive? Who would do that? Who would buy the car? Somebody who wants to? Oh, I support Ford's right to do that. Yeah. Well, I know I'm buying the car, but it's only for a second when I first turn it on. It shows a level of contempt for the for the consumer. And boy, I'm telling you, friends, it's going to bite them in the hind end. I'll be right back. And it should, by the way. It should bite them in the hind end.
Have Muslim terrorists hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam? Or is there more to the story? The answer lies in the life of one man, Muhammad, the founder of Islam. Muslim terrorists see themselves inside a 1,400-year-old story, a narrative that focuses on specific events in the life of Muhammad. We are going to look at Muhammad's life using their most sacred literature. We will look at Muhammad at the Battle of Badr. We'll see him deal with those who mock him. We'll see the times when he used deception. We'll witness Muhammad's anti-Semitism. And yes, we will discuss Muhammad and his teachings concerning sex, slavery, and jihad. Friend, if you want to understand Islamic terrorism, get this series today.
In my opinion, it is a blessing when idols are toppled. And I think that we need to look at what's going on with the NFL. And for me personally, okay, this is my opinion, I view it, at least in part, as a blessing. It's a mixed blessing, but it's a blessing. And the reason is this. Our godless devices and our games are for amusement. Amusement. It's a Greek word which means no thinking. Did you know that? That the word amusement means no, and muse is to think. Amuse. To amuse is to make us so, I don't want to think about anything. Let's just watch something. Let's go to a game. So the games in Rome, the games in Greece, they were there for amusement, to not think. And there's a lot to think about. Our own eternity. For one, spiritual things. The presence of true injustice in America. The presence of grotesque sin. You know, the two greatest sins that cry out to God are shedding of innocent blood and sodomy, Sodom and Gomorrah. And now America is just literally throwing themselves, as a nation, we're in this swamp of iniquity. That's worth thinking about. And there are a lot of kids. I grew up as a huge fan of Joe Namath, number 12, New York Jets, Broadway Joe. I'm dating myself, I know. So I understand sports. I used to bet a dime every week with my sixth grade, not my sixth grade teacher, one of the teachers across all, Mr. Corbin. Every week we would have a dime bet over who won the Jets, and I came away in those years as a winner more times than I lost. I get to buy a little ice cream or something. So I like sports. I've played sports my whole life. But when people have it as an idol, when they spend more time focusing on sports, focusing on stats, focusing on trade deals and the draft and the who's on the coaching staff, et cetera, et cetera. And then, you ask them, that's amazing that you know that. You could ask them, how many books are in the Bible? How many chapters are in the book of John? What's the theme of the book of blank? I mean, you understand? There's an over-investment in sports. And for some people, there's going to be a lot of people that they boycott now. And they're going to do better things with their time. The NFL will never recover from this, by the way. We'll come back to that in a minute. But in my opinion, it is a blessing to a lot of people to see this idol topple, warble. Because rather than be able to just put a poster up on a kid's room, there's parents taking posters down. There's parents saying, nope, we're not going to watch it this week. Nope, that man is not a good man. That man has insulted our vets. That man has insulted people who died to keep that flag just from hitting the ground. Just from hitting the ground. There were people who have died. And they're going to do this, these multi-million-dollar crybabies, these multi-million-dollar over. Newt Gingrich said they need counseling, which I thought was funny. We're not going to put their posters up in our house. We're not going to watch it this week. No, sorry, kids. And for me, from where I sit, that is a blessing for a lot of families, a blessing for a lot of young men. And now this is kind of a reality check for all of us, all right? If I could just, in the closing moments of this segment, if I could use the football thing. At times we get obsessed, okay? I love music. I do. I love music. And there are times that I can get obsessed about music and musical instruments. We just raffled off instruments at a movie shoot we were doing just because I love music and I want kids to be able to play. But there are times that I can be distracted. Times that I would have been better spent rather than looking at guitars or whatever. I would have been better off using that time to pray or to read the scriptures or to read a diary of a spiritual saint or something. So, how we all spend our time and what idols we have, what distractions we have, what amusements we have, what things that are amusements that are literally designed to keep us from focusing, keep us from thinking. I think we all would do well to do a reality check. And from time to time, after your favorite TV programs on the Walk TV are done, that you turn it off. And you don't change the channel, you turn it off. And maybe read a book. Or maybe spend time with your family. Or maybe spend some time praying. Or maybe spend some time thinking about how to topple idols. I'll be right back.
What Would Mohammed Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained is the best movie series documentary ever produced on the life of Muhammad and Islam. How do I know? Because it's what critics are saying. John Moore, radio host and author, said, "I learned more from What Would Mohammed Do about Islam and Islamic terrorism than I've learned from everything I ever read and watched in my entire life." Best-selling author Dr. Bill Warner said, "What Would Mohammed Do is the best movie series, TV production on the life of Muhammad and Islamic terrorism that has ever been produced." Friends, this is what the experts are saying. No one has ever done what we've done. I encourage you to get 1, 2, 4 copies. Call 304-289-3700. That's 304-289-3700, or order it at the address or the website that you see on the screen. Friend, we have a series that will help you and those you love to have an impact on this country. It's called Insurrecta Nex. That's Latin for revolution against the killing of innocent people. This is the history, the philosophy, and the theology of social revolution in America. We look at the Stamp Act, the Boston Tea Party, the abolition of slavery, the abolition of child labor, women's voting rights, the civil rights movement. All of them have this in common: courage, sacrifice, dedication, and in-your-face tactics and rhetoric. That's one of the reasons that we've been losing the culture wars the last 40 years, is because the bad guys are using these tactics and we aren't. We will send you this 14-part TV series along with these manuals for students, a teacher's facilitator guide for only $40. Go to 304-289-3700, 304-289-3700.
Cry bully. I just learned this word, literally, in the break, a term, cry bully, C-R-Y, boo-hoo crying bully. Somebody who pretends to be the victim, but in doing so is bullying other people. And that might be what some of these NFL guys are. Because they're really not victims. I can't see that part, okay? Yes, there has been victimization. If they're going to make this a race issue, we can never deny that American slavery was a horrific crime against God and man. The end, it was. But some of these guys, they're cry bullies. I like the word. All right, let's switch gears radically for a moment. Um, we created a series, a documentary called "What Would Muhammad Do?" It's an Islamic series. And during the break, I was reading a story about Britain, one of Britain's political leaders, talking about British culture being buried by Islam. Very troubling article. Very troubling. And it's because of the comment was about the overwhelming amount of immigrants that are coming in, legally and illegally, and what it's doing to British culture. We have thankfully gone through over 5,000 sets of the series, the documentary, What Would Muhammad Do? That's DVDs that have been shipped literally all over the world. But I would like it to be 50,000 or 500,000, not for the money of it. All right? If we could get them out, and we just broke even and 500,000 went out, we could change the course of human history. And ultimately, that's what I want to do. And that's the purpose of this show, to call into people's souls with the truth. I want to encourage you, all right, to go to our website, as much as I hate cyberspace, to go to our website, randallterry.com, and take advantage of the materials that are there for free. There are people that are watching this program right now who are in tough times financially. I get that. I've been there before. Almost everything we have on our website is free. The What Would Muhammad Do series, you can watch 1 or 2 episodes for free. The writings, all my books are there in PDF form. You can get them for free. And if you want some of the items that we make available that are, hard copy books, DVDs, if you cannot afford them, just give something for shipping and handling. Literally, just give something for shipping and handling, and we'll send it to you. Okay? Because truth is the best weapon to use against lies. Truth has within it the seeds of its own victory. Lies have within them the seeds of their own destruction. But if lies take the playing field and no one has the courage to stand up for truth and to herald truth and to wield the sword of truth, as Paul called it, then the Apostle Paul, St. Paul talked about the Word of God being the sword of truth. If people don't have the courage to wield it, or if they don't know the truth, then the lies can prevail. And a lot of what's going on in America today is because lies are prevailing on the field of battle. And so me and friends, family, and staff, for years and years and years, have debated how we make truth available. Books, tapes, DVDs, do we sell them? Do we make them for free? And for the most part, I have chosen to get them out there as extensively as possible and as inexpensively as possible to the end reader or viewer. So that's me making a very long invitation for you to go to our website, randallterry.com, and to skulk around there and see what's there for yourself. You can read my book, The Judgment of God. All right, went through 3 printings, and then we sold them all out. And I wrote that in federal prison. And now the book is out of print, but we said, put it online in PDF. I don't have to spend the money on printing, and people can still read it for free. So please take advantage of that. And now, in closing moments of the program, I would like to ask you for your continued prayers for us. We have a lot going on. A lot going on. We are promoting the What Would Muhammad Do series. We just finished the Norma McCorvey movie, A Cold Day in Hell. And I'm going to play some of the credits of that right now and let it go for your viewing pleasure. But you can go to acolddayinhell.tv and you can watch the trailer. And I just ask you for your prayers because we have a lot going on. So we're going to run this. We're going to run it to let the show go out. Here's the music video for A Cold Day in Hell. God bless you. See you next time.